Months of fighting have taken a heavy toll on parts of Ukraine. As George Thomas reports, CBN's Orphan's promise has been helping meet both the physical and spiritual needs of Ukrainians caught in the middle of the crisis.
Galyna Kucher will be the first to admit she's in unfamiliar territory. In 23 years of working for CBN, have you experienced anything like this?
No, I've dealt with social disasters all my career, but this is by far the biggest challenge I've ever had to face.
Since the crisis in Crimea erupted and pro-Russian separatists invaded parts of eastern Ukraine, she and her team have worked around the clock distributing humanitarian aid.
Today people need food, tomorrow they need medical assistance, or you have to evacuate them from the war zone. We weren't ready for this kind of disaster, but life has put us in such circumstances that we've had to risk our lives to save children, feed them, attend to their medical and psychological needs.
For several months now, Orphan's Promise has been running a hotline connecting a stream of refugees coming out of the war zone here in the east and the Crimean Peninsula, with families and churches willing to help.
This war has shown the true face of the Protestant Church in Ukraine. They are united and helping. The government couldn't handle the flow of refugees, but thanks to the Christians, we were able to respond.
She's made several trips here to the war zone, and each time struggles with the magnitude of suffering and heartbreak.
In 23 years, I've coordinated hundreds of humanitarian distributions, but I have never had to hand out bread to people. It's just insane that in Ukraine, the country that grows wheat and is the breadbasket of Europe, people would be in need of bread.
And this is a war that's happening on the doorsteps of Europe.
Ukraine is a peaceful nation, and since our independence has never fought anyone, we gave away our nuclear weapons. We have no real army. I never thought our nation was at risk, especially from Russia.
About 1,000 Russian troops still reportedly operate in Ukraine, with an additional 20,000 on the Russian side of the border. Thousands of pro-Russian separatists firmly control large chunks of eastern Ukraine. Kucher says the situation in the rebel-controlled areas is dangerous and dire.
Some people that we have evacuated from the war zone were in such shock that they were close to a nervous breakdown. They were shaking non-stop and couldn't believe we got them out.
In between handing out bread and other critical relief supplies to hundreds of families, Kucher says her team is always ready to meet more than just physical needs.
We have many opportunities to share the gospel with people, pray with them, and I have even noticed how thirsty people are for the Word of God. They grab Bibles from our hands. People are open.
Nearly a week after a tenuous ceasefire was signed, explosions rocked the conflict-ridden Donetsk region overnight. Kucher says it's just another sad reminder of the challenges facing her war-weary countrymen. George Thomas, CBN News, Eastern Ukraine.